Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Sir Cowdog, and this is part 2 of the Lost Bastille. Last time I just kind of finished Awakening Strayed with a Fragrant Branch of Yore. Traded in some souls, leveled up a little bit, but here we go with part 2. This is going to be roughly the same length of time on the video. So first stop is actually going to be back to the the tower apart, not the far fire. And from here, I'm going to head straight towards the ruined Sentinels. Quick stop off here to grab some easy souls. Blowing up dogs and killing that crossbowman. I don't know why I opened that door. I guess I'm just checking to see if the pursuer is still there. He likes to show up a lot on this level, so anyway, I'm going to take this guy out real fast. Head through the tower, get out the short bow, and shoot these barrel right here. Knocking that guy completely off the map, and then do the same right here. Alright. Should be able to take these guys out in one hit now. Oops, good timing. Okay, so with my remaining branch, go ahead and free this guy so he gets out of the way of the door. Now just on the other side in this room, there are a lot, and I do mean a lot, of Royal Swordsmen. So the best way to handle this is to set foot right inside and then run right back out. And they should all pile up right here, letting you take them more or less one at a time. That strong attack on the battle axe, should serve you really well. It's got that nice straight downward swing. There we go. Looks like these guys dropped all kinds of stuff. Life gems. Royal Swordsman helmet. More life gems. Okay, we're not quite done with the Royal Swordsman yet. There are a couple more right here. So treat them the same way. If you're lucky like that, they'll hit the barrels and blow themselves up, but usually you just have to bottleneck them right here. Alright. And 2 more to go. And I'm going to show you the full circuit here. All of these rooms connect. So right down this ladder. By the way, there's another guy right there. Grab these souls. Roll through this thing to this guy. And then back up the stairs is right where we just came from. Anyway, so if you're having a little bit of trouble with the Ruined Sentinels, you have 2 NPC summons you can use to help make the fight a little bit easier. This guy right here, or this girl, I'm not sure. Kind of a tank character, has a large shield and armor. The other NPC you can summon is right here. And she is a spellcasting type. And I've found that actually she tends to do a lot better against the Ruined Sentinels. For whatever reason, she'll do more damage and generally actually survive better as well. So, okay, I'm going to actually go ahead and play around here a little bit with my equipment just to add some survivability. Can I equip enough things to make this viable? Let's see. 71, 64, 65. Maybe I'll use the... There, that's a nice... you know what, actually, for the sake of tutorial status, not everybody will have gotten lucky with that drop, so I'm going to go ahead and use the Archdrake Robes, which are still really, really good armor across the board. So everything else is as heavy as it can get. I'm going to go ahead and equip the magic damage. And one more thing to prepare, I'm going to trade up to the Radiant Life Gems instead of the normal ones, because these heal a little bit more, so that will come in pretty handy. So, enchant your weapon with the Ooze for magic damage. Step through the Fog Gate, and there will be a boss immediately on your left. Go ahead and get your shield up. Wait for him to swing, get a couple hits in, and basically use the same tactics we use on just about every boss in Dark Souls 2. Stay locked on and rotate to the right. Don't get greedy and try to get too many hits in. Usually that ends up costing you. And then once he's dead, stand right here on this corner. Not only does that let you see this guy as he jumps up, but you'll also be safe from the attack when he jumps, like this. Let's get in a hit. Now you should not have quite enough time to completely kill this guy, because the other one will jump up here in just a second. There he is. And that's your cue to go ahead and roll off. And we should drop down. Now, I made a mistake there and lost track of which one I'd already damaged, which is not good. And of course, immediately taking hits. So, the Ruined Sentinels are programmed so that as soon as you drink a Estus Flask, they do that jump attack, or they attack otherwise normally. You can see how I'm getting hit every time I try to drink. The strategy is to get as far away as possible, preferably underneath one of these ledges, and then drink. Or get close enough to the boss so that you can wait until they attack and then heal then. So once you're in this phase with both of these guys, it's really just an endurance match. You've got to play really defensive, wait for them to split up, because otherwise when you go to do your attack, the other one will hit you. So here we go. Nope, I the other one. Alright, this is my target. Once you've got it down to one boss, it's just easy mode. You fight them the same way that you did the first one. Just lock on and rotate to the right. Keep your shield up. Should just be a matter of managing your stamina and avoiding the bosses. So, just like that. Not too crazy. If you're fast enough, you should be able to re-equip the Silver Serpent Ring, but I was not. So, going to get my regular gear back on. And that is how you fight the Ruined Sentinels. Once again, just like the Pursuer, it takes a little bit of practice, but once you get accustomed to it and you don't get flustered because there's 3 of them, it's actually not that hard. Alright, a bunch of secret doors. First one heads up here, and I believe it's the Hush spell, which makes your movement silent. Useful in only a very few rare situations. But there's another door right here. Homeward bow. This is, I believe, the target shield. Once again, it's kind of a parry tool. Not super good for regular blocking, but parry is a thing that a lot of people use to great effect. It just requires a lot of practice, so knock yourself out if that is what you want. This particular set of videos will not be covering that. So, alright, one more secret door. Get out your bow. It's another one of these exploders. Just gonna go and pop him so he doesn't blow the chest up. And that is it. Now, just through this passageway, you can see there's a skeleton right there. 2 doors down on the left, there is another exploding guy. You can kind of see him moving a little bit if you're careful. You can either run in and wait for him to explode, or you can hit him through the bars if you're lucky. It's probably safer just to run past and let him explode. Alright, get your short bow out, turn around here and look up. For some reason, the moths, there's some sort of like hidden Easter egg. Once you kill them once, they don't ever respawn. Alright, one fire lit. Rest up here for my hit points. And down the ladder right here is another pursuer. This time it's in some pretty close quarters, so you're going to have to be pretty precise with your dodges, but the tactic is still the same. Bait the shield rush, stay away from the blue sword. And basically it's just more practice. He really likes to use that, doesn't he? Okay, so we got the Great Club, well, the large club, I guess. A chest of loot. And normally, this would open up a secret door right here. But since I don't have any lock stones, I can't do it just quite yet. There is a lock stone right before the final boss of the level. And I'll be picking that up in just a little bit, but for now, let's head over here. Break this door. You can open it, but I'll show you both ways. To get the loot. It's generally just easier to smash the door down, honestly. So, to the right, there is a guy in that room who will come out and try to ambush you as soon as you come over here to grab his key, because the game wants you to focus on the treasure while it ambushes you from behind. Pretty standard Dark Souls tactics, to be honest. As long as you're aware of the trap, it's not really that dangerous. So, okay, both of these places go the same place. It's another loop. Up here, as you can see, this room is full of barrels. And I'm going to actually come at it from the other side, because there's a couple of pieces of loot down here. You hear the gargoyle bosses making noise. They should fly past in just a second. There we go. Grab this piece of loot right here, back up a little bit, and do a sprinting jump. This piece, and then up the ladder will take us right back to the room full of barrels. Oh, and that guy got to blow himself up. So behind this door is a skeleton who's trying to take a nap. Oh, we'll just leave him alone. There's nothing there. There's no secrets. just a weird little prank by the developers. Alright. So opening these two gates will give me access back to the rooms just below Strade's cell. And I'll rest at the bonfire and then head over to the final boss. Hopefully you recognize this room. Okay. Back upstairs. And here we are back at Strade's bonfire. Oops. That's unfortunate. Whoa, why are there so many? Okay, tactical retreat. I'll take these guys all out with a short bow. This is what happens when you don't kill them and leave them alone. Apparently peace was never an option. Okay, that's all of them. Now the key that I just picked up earlier opens this door right here, as well as a handful of others. And this room appears to be empty, but let me show you what's actually here. I believe the torch will reveal a shadow of a guy sitting down. It's another one of these dudes. So that's how you find them, by the way. Either watch a guide like this one, or just carry a torch around. Anyway, rest up here, head back to town real fast to level up before the final boss. Once again, be very careful not to accidentally consume the boss souls. You don't necessarily need them right away, but if you have a weapon that you want, then the NPC to trade those in will be found a little bit later on down the road in another video. Anyway, let's level up. Standard stuff, more hit points, endurance, vitality, strength. Looks good. Alright, whoops. Back to the boss, please. Alright. Just around the corner here. A little bit of an ambush. Sounds like these guys are chasing me down again. Oh, and I've got a random encounter with Forlorn. Wonderful. I'm trying to remember what direction he comes from. There he is. Oh, and he's decided to fight me at the same time as an exploder. So, Forlorn is an NPC. It is not a player. He will randomly show up. A little bit annoying. Likes to roll a lot. Doesn't hit that hard, but can be dangerous. I find that two-handing is actually a little bit better for him since it staggers. But you can fight him however you want. He does not heal himself like a player. Might take a little bit of practice. If he kills you, it's not that big of a deal unless you're doing a no-death run. But if you're doing a no-death run, hopefully you are good enough at the game that that's not an issue. So, kind of a catch-22, I guess, but welcome to Dark Souls, where nothing is fair. Alright. Right around the corner here, I'm going to head up the ladder. Now the game will try to distract me by showing the gargoyle bosses again. What is this guy doing here? Normally, those guys will make noise, and that guy that was at the top of the ladder just a second ago would run around and climb up behind you, but I guess not this time. Basically, just keep your head on a swivel. Anytime the game is showing you something, if you haven't figured out by now, it's usually a trap. Alright. Grab this loot here, being very careful not to fall off. Head back down. Get this guy right here around the corner. And before I grab the loot, I'll take this guy out as well, so none of these guys try to sneak up behind me while I'm looting. Life gem, more fruit, and I believe this is some souls. Nope, human effigy. Okay. Down, down, down the elevator. There's a piece of loot here near the bottom. All you have to do to get it is just roll off when you're close enough. Okay, so this summon sign is Lucadil. We're going to leave her right there for now. I'm going to switch to these poison arrows that I bought quite a while ago back on No Man's Wharf, because, speaking of No Man's Wharf, we have Flexial Sentry again. Now he can't make it past these stairs, so I'm going to tag him 1, 2, 3, 4, and that will poison him. And then I can switch to the normal arrows from here. Oops, maybe I need to hit him a 5th time, I guess. He is not being poisoned for some reason. How odd. Oh, it took 7 poison, or... Wait a second. I must have been firing normal arrows for some reason. I don't know. It should only take 4 poison arrows. I guess I was pulling the wrong trigger. Okay. We'll just kind of pepper him with normal arrows. Let the poison do its work. And it looks like it's run out already. So, lure him back in. Oops, got a hit on me. Now the reason I didn't summon Lucadil for this is, number one, I really only believe in using her for the boss required for her story. But number two, if you have her out here, she will take a lot of damage from this guy. Do not want her to die before the boss, since in order to satisfy her story quest, she needs to survive the boss fight. Alright, secret door here. It looks like you can keep going. Trust me, you can't. If only a little bit out from the wall, you will fall into a bottomless pit as the water gets deep. Just grab that loot right there and head straight back in to avoid any accidents. Grab that loot. And this loot. Okay, the Blossom Kite shield will actually give you a slight amount of stamina regeneration. It does stack with the Chloranthy ring, but if you notice here, the defense is not nearly as good. So it's up to you which one you want to use. I'm going to stick with the Watch Dragon Parma because I like random drops. And I also like to actually be able to defend with the shield pretty well. Alright. Once again, we're going to put the short bow to work. Inside every one of these cells, there is usually one, sometimes two exploding guys. Sometimes they like to hide under the water like that. And you do need to take these guys out first before doing anything else, because if you don't, when you go to pull this lever to open the gate, they will all come running. Alright. So if you notice that loot I just picked up was another Pharaoh's Lockstone. We'll use that later on to get access to the Belfry Gargoyle area, right where I fought the Pursuer. Okay, so that's all the exploding guys. The Bastille Key will give us access to another Hide Knight. Fighting him in that room, really bad idea. Tag him with a couple arrows to get him to come out. I recommend doing what I just did, where you block him a couple times and then eventually get behind him. It's usually the best way to do it, but the Hide Spear, pretty nice. Very good just on the fact that it's a spear, but it also does lightning damage. So if you are into spear builds, that's a really good one to use. And then over here there's no loot, but if you need help with the boss, you can summon Masterless Glencour. The guy literally carries a shield in each hand, so all he does is tank. But now that all that stuff is clear, I'm going to go ahead and run back here to summon Lucatiel, and then it'll just be the boss. Lucatiel sometimes has issues following you, so just rotate your camera to keep an eye on her. Okay, pretty good. Now, both sides here are bottomless pits. It looks like water, but of course, just like in the No Man's Wharf, if you fall in the water, it's instant death. The cursed one cannot swim. And on each side here, there's a little bit of a ramp and a weird little room with some spilled oil and a channel. What you want to do is use one of these flame butterflies, and then set the light. Do the same thing on the other side. And what this does is light up the boss room. This is important because the boss likes to jump around a lot and break line of sight with you, making you lose target. But if the room is lit, that makes it harder for her to do and lets you stay locked on the boss. So alright, now that both of those are lit, I'm going to go ahead and use another one of these. I think I'm going to use lightning this time. And honestly, Lucatiel will do most of the tanking for you. And since she needs to survive the fight, this becomes a little bit of a DPS race, but if you're following my videos, you shouldn't have any problem with that. Take a second here to heal up. Lucatiel takes far, far less damage from this boss than you do. See that jump? Normally if the torches weren't lit, you would lose your target lock. And you'd have to wonder where the boss went. So, just like that, Look Deal even got the final hit in. Good job. Collect all the souls. Open the door. There's a chest on the left here with another fragrant branch. And an Elizabeth mushroom, which will heal you quite a bit. It's kind of like a life gem. But here we have the first of the primal bonfires. Using this will take you straight back to Majula, where the Emerald Herald will congratulate you on step 1 of your quest to defeat and become the new king. Or
You
monarch,
have acquired the soul of an old one. That is more than most undead can say.
Okay, time to level up some more. I think I'm going to grab a little bit more adaptability. Perfect. So, the only thing I have left to do in the Lost Bastille is to fight the Belfry Gargoyles. They're like the Ruined Sentinels, but more difficult. You can, if you're not careful, fight up to 5 of them at once. It's really not very fun, but Servants' Quarters. And I'm going to use that Pharaoh's Lockstone I just picked up down in the boss area. This also gives you access to the Bellkeeper's Covenant if you wanted to join that for completion's sake. If you're playing online, as soon as you set foot past that door, you are in a zone where invasions happen automatically. Either you're going to get invaded by a Bellkeeper player, or if you join the Bellkeeper Covenant, you will be sucked into other people's realms and invade them automatically. So, it's up to you if you want to do that. The rewards are pretty good. You can get Titanite chunks, among other things. But no, I'm not going to join your stupid covenant. Instead, I'm just going to go ahead straight up to the boss. Now, the boss room itself is actually blocked off by a gate that has to be opened by a lever upstairs. And if you're offline like I am, you'll get invaded by the NPC, the Bellkeeper. He's basically just a red version of the weird little blue enemies. Kind of like a mini boss, I guess you could say. Okay, one more. Bellkeeper bow. Kind of mediocre bow in my opinion, run of the mill. Not good, not bad. But I'm going to stick with my short bow. Right here is the, I want to say the blue, no, the red. Yeah, it is the blue tier sun ring. That's the one that makes your defenses skyrocket when you're close to being dead, which is not as useful as it sounds. Since usually when you're at the health range for that to activate, it only takes 1 hit to kill you no matter what happens anyway. So, alright. Up the ladder. And I'm going to top off my health because there's going to be probably 4 or 5 of those blue guys led by the red one. And they can hit pretty hard. So, I found that the best way to handle them is to kind of bottleneck them here. Try to fight them one at a time. They will also shoot arrows at you and throw bombs, so keep that in mind. Try to block them with line of sight. Don't get stuck in the corner. This is kind of a warm-up for the actual boss fight, so it's good practice. And one more. There we go. A couple of pieces of loot hidden back in one of these corners. This lever will ring the bell, but it will also open the gate to the boss. And there it is. Skeptic's Spice for spellcasting builds. Rusted coin. Leave a human effigy. Nope. Twilight herb and better life gems. Okay, so now that I got everything cleared, I'm actually going to head back to the bonfire to heal up, since I want as many Estus Flask charges available as I can. This boss fight is pretty tough. Since it is completely optional, if you're struggling a lot with it, you can always level up, do a couple more areas, and then come back to it. There is nothing past this boss that's super, super vital. There is a dragon tooth club and some other, like, I think a magic falchion. Nothing that special. This is purely for completion's sake that I'm doing it. Alright, kill these guys again. Now, the fight gets significantly easier if you have help. So the other thing you can do if you're having trouble is to summon this guy, and he will tank and keep the attention of several of the bosses, basically allowing you to fight them one-on-one. It's more or less easy mode. But, once again, the rules that I play, no death runs, are that you are not allowed to use NPCs for bosses unless it's required for their story. So, same as with the Ruin Sentinels, I'm going to mess around with my gear just a little bit here. Don't need experience bonus, since surviving the fight is way, way, way more important. I've actually got enough stats to equip this time. Nice. Radiant, and I believe the gargoyles are weak to magic. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure. And even if they're not, it's a little bit of bonus damage. So, here we go. Wait until you get inside the boss room, since these guys take a little bit to activate. Just got one down already. Nice, that's a good start. Sounds like a third one just activated. Two down, three to go. Retreat. Top off my hit points here. I didn't expect that guy to hit me. Once again, this is very much an endurance fight. Try not to get greedy. That's usually how you get into trouble. Alright, third one spawned. Let's see if I can get this one away from him. Nope, he's gonna breathe fire. Just kind of take your hits where you can get them. Looks like my magic buff ran out, but that should be okay. It's already served its purpose by letting me take down two very quickly. Perfect. One more hit on that guy should do it. He's gonna... No, I thought for sure he's gonna breathe fire. The main thing you need to watch out for is you don't want to get trapped in a corner with these guys. That's why you see me constantly rotating. Let's see if I can get a hit on this guy. No. Come on, land already. There we go. as I did. Shooting at this guy with the bow. Nice. Oh. That guy attacked me through the fire. Pretty much got it at this point, though. One gargoyle at a time is a pretty easy fight. Oh, special note, you can fall off the roof here if you get too close to the edge. Come on, dude. Higher. There we go. Did end up using all of my heal flasks, though, so maybe a little bit closer than I thought. The Belfry Gargoyle boss soul turns into, as you might imagine, the Gargoyle spear. It is believe the only spear that uses strength primarily for scaling. So if you're using a spear build, that one is pretty good to get. Unfortunately, the Gargoyle spear upgrades with Titanite scales, which are super, super rare until much, much later in the game. So keep that in mind if you decide to use that weapon. You won't be able to fully upgrade it without using bonfire ascetics or waiting until you get to the dragon area. Alright, bunch of dogs. Another NPC invader. He's not very difficult, to be honest. A little bit annoying if you try to stay back away from him, but I'm just having problems with him because my stamina is so low after fighting dogs. Okay, go ahead and chop this guy down. Basically, once I had enough stamina to actually attack, he was kind of a pushover, so... One last dog. And we have here Enchanted Falchion. I believe that's a Falchion that scales with intelligence. Souls off the dogs. And we have a Dragon Tooth, Petrified Something, and a Bright Bug. Dragon Tooth is the weapon used by Havel the Rock from Dark Souls 1 and 3. It's a giant two-handed club. Alright. But that is literally everything out of the Lost Bastille. Head back to Majula real quick, and that's going to do it for the video. Next one up is going to be Down the Hole. And until then, guys, as usual, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.